Pickled beef? What's wrong?
Don't talk about me.
What?
Carrie, roll call, please.
Jet White.
Here.
Jose Arenas.
Here.
Martin Cazada.
Here.
Susan Sarin.
Here.
Hilda Ortega Rosales. Allegra. Joel. And Mariah. There being 5 members, there is a quorum.
I call this regular meeting of April 16th, 2024 to order. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Carrie, roll call, please.
Jet White.
Yes.
Jose Arenas.
Yes.
Martin Cazada.
Yes.
Susan Sarin.
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Please, student board members, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Dr. Cruz, would you like to welcome and introduce our Be Recognized winners for February and March?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. It's truly an honor to have this opportunity to recognize some of the amazing staff members that we have here in the Pendergast School District. We're actually going to start off, we have one colleague who wasn't able to join us this evening, and then after we recognize her, we'll go ahead and have you all come out in front of the dais for the rest of the folks, all right? So we're going to start off this evening by recognizing Ms. Lindsay Frericks, a first grade teacher from Rio Vista Elementary School. She shines, yeah, you can clap for her, we're so proud. She has a note, she's excused. She shines as a deserving recipient of the Be Recognized Award for her exceptional dedication to service. Known for her outstanding teaching and team spirit, Ms. Frericks consistently ensures her students thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Her compassion toward each student is truly admirable, and she fosters strong bonds with the families she serves. Not only does she excel within the classroom, but she also extends her support throughout the school community, always ready to lend a helping hand. Ms. Frericks embodies dedication, compassion, and kindness, making her an invaluable asset. Congratulations, your contributions are truly appreciated. All right. Thanks, everyone. All right, our next Be Recognized Award winner is Kelsey Pennington, our ELA and Social Studies Coordinator. Kelsey was selected as a Be Recognized Award winner for her dedication and contributions to excellence. Throughout challenges, she has consistently provided unwavering support, going above and beyond her duties. Her infectious positivity inspires her team, fostering resilience even during tough times. Ms. Pennington's commitment to excellence sets a shining example for colleagues and students, embodying values of dedication and compassion. Congratulations, Ms. Pennington, on this well-deserved recognition. Your uplifting spirit truly impacts those around you.
This is the mom taking the
You gotta do it first. Look right here.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, one more.
The official one?
Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Family is coming.
Oh, yeah. Anybody.
right, our next Be Recognized Award winner is Luz Barragan, fourth grade teacher at Pendergast Elementary School. Luz Barragan is a distinguished fourth grade teacher at Pendergast Elementary, and she stands out as a deserving recipient of the Be Recognized Award for her unwavering dedication to her school community. She consistently provides exceptional educational experiences, attentively addressing students' needs, and tirelessly supporting their success. Beyond her exemplary teaching, she demonstrates leadership by readily assisting colleagues. Recognized for prioritizing others' needs and well-being, Ms. Barragan embodies empathy and care. You know, she's actually part of the fourth grade team over at Pendergast that's been doing an amazing project this entire year with Borderlands produce to make sure that every family in the area has access to fresh produce at an affordable price. And they're out there in the middle of the night. The team from Pendergast has just been exceptional with that, and I know the fourth grade team is really taking the lead in that. That's my own personal comment, sorry, y'all. Her invaluable contributions greatly enrich the Pendergast school community. Congratulations, Ms. Barragan, on this well-deserved recognition.
Pendergast family come too.
No, Ray, I stand with it. I don't want anybody. Maybe, seriously, maybe. Yeah. Jeff, help me in the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We're gonna take a few of them. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's get the rest of the room up.
And our final Be Recognized Award recipient this evening is Andrea Tucker, Library Media Specialist at Emory. She has earned this award for her outstanding dedication to students' learning experiences. Beyond her official duties, Ms. Tucker tirelessly provides resources and opportunities for Amberlea students. Notably, she spearheaded the NCAA Read to the Final Four challenge for Amberlea's third grade cohort, spending countless hours tracking their reading progress. With her encouragement, Amberlea secured third place in the state in this competition. Additionally, her efforts in the If You Give a Child a Book campaign ensured a bundle of free books for every student, and through her commitment, Ms. Tucker ignites a passion for literacy and success in students. Ms. Tucker, thank you for all that you do. Congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, any family? Oh, yeah. The other half of the room. Oh, pretty nice family. All right, ready? Okay, ready? Let's make sure I can see your face. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3. 1. Thank you.
So this is one of my favorite parts of the agenda because we are who we are because of the people that are called the Pendergast community. And tonight is a great reflection of who we are. We acknowledge those individuals who are embracing our children in many facets, and in many cases, it's over and above what is written in their job description. And that takes, as it is, it's a job that takes a lot, but on top of that, they add more to their plates because they believe in our children. And so this recognition is something that we continue to value and we will continue to do. And the other reason it's one of my favorite is, you've heard this before, the support of family and friends. I went around before the meeting to ask who's who, and we have everything from children to partners to friends who are always there, you know, that friend that when good things happen, you're calling that person. When things are not so well, you're calling that person. That's what we're about, is that support. Because whoever you are that is supporting our employee, you too are contributing to the success of our district. So thank you. All right. Dr. Cruz, please invite our student board members to give their school reports.
Sure. Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. It is a privilege to get to introduce our student board members this evening, and we're going to start with Allegra to give her school reports.
Good evening, Madam President. Highlights from these schools are Sunset Ridge. Sunset Ridge 4th and 5th graders will participate in an Arbor Day event with the City of Glendale on Friday, April 26th at the Sunset Ridge Park. Students will participate in planting of 6 new trees and learn about the importance of trees in their community. Thank you to the City of Glendale for making this possible. Students at Sunset Ridge have been rocking AASA testing over the past couple of weeks. Sunset Ridge students will complete the testing this week. Canyon Breeze. The Canyon Breeze Care Enough crew and school counselor, Ms. Rother, created and handed out testing brochures to help 3rd through 8th grade students prepare for the state testing. The brochure provided testing and study tips on how to manage stress before and during the test. On Friday, Canyon Breeze cheerleaders, student leaders, teachers, and administration attended the Burlington Coat Factory grand opening and was presented with a check of $5,000. Burlington chooses one school to support with each new program opening through the amazing Adopt a Classroom program. Rio Vista. Our school counselor, Ms. Hennings, is facilitating career exploration with our 8th graders this week using the virtual reality headsets. Our 2nd graders had a fantastic visit to the Musical Instrument Museum. We are thankful to also have 26 adult chaperones to volunteer to attend with our kids. Westwind. The Westwind students had an amazing time studying about solar eclipses and watching the solar eclipse with their solar glasses. Many exciting moments during the eclipse. The Westwind K 1st and 2nd grade students were so excited and had so much fun participating in the annual Easter egg hunt. And now Joel will give us his reports.
Good evening, Madam President. Excuse me. Highlights from these schools are Desert Mirage. Desert Mirage is proud to host Honey Hive Farm and Arizona Worm Farm to our campus. Scholars in 2nd and 6th grade are working on PBL projects for our final showcase, and these industry professionals will provide the insight needed for their driving question. Desert Mirage is extremely thankful to the operations department, Brian Winefsky, Samuel, and the team as we continue to improve the preschool playground. These wonderful individuals have helped keep daily functions and operations smooth as possible with construction and installation of the new playground. Thank you, team. Desert Horizon. Desert Horizon would like to celebrate all of our students that participated on the track and field Special Olympics event at Raymond S. Kellis on April 4, 2024. It was a fun day of competition. All of our students and families had a blast. We would like to celebrate staff and students for their hard work during ASA testing. Your resilience, teamwork, and commitment have made it possible to navigate through the past few weeks of testing. Well done, everyone. Amberlia. Amberlia's 3rd graders placed number 3 in the state for the Read to the Final Four Literacy Challenge. They had a fun-filled day at the Phoenix Convention Center and brought back a check for $2,500 that will double to $5,000. In addition, all third graders will receive a bike for all of their hard work. Amberlia's kinder, first, and fifth grade students are gearing up for an exciting field trip this month to the MIM, where they will see and hear all about instruments from around the world. Pendergast. Shout out to our counselor and student council sponsor, Mrs. Moreno, for taking our student council students to an engaging, interactive leadership event at Copper Canyon High School this past week. This was an amazing event to promote leadership skills for our students. Pendergast 5th and 7th graders had amazing days with Youth Frontiers and the Junior ROTC from Westview High School this past week. Students participated in courage and kindness retreats that promoted social skills, self-improvement, and overall kindness. And now Mariah will give the last reports.
Good evening, Madam President. Highlights from these schools are Villa de Paz. Congratulations to Samuel in 5th grade for being named a finalist in the School Connect Student Champion of the Year Award, K through 6. We are super proud of the contributions he had given to Villa de Paz. Go Dust Devils. The Villa de Paz Girls Who Code Club received a visit from Raymond and Holly, project managers at Core Construction. Both Holly and Raymond presented at the topic of women in the construction, what pathway took to enter the industry. The presentations accumulated with the tour of our new building and a swag bag from the Core. Copper King. Copper King is excited for our upcoming spring event. Our school play Haphazardly Ever After will have its opening night on April 26th at 6 p.m. A special encore performance will take place Saturday, April 27th at 6 p.m. Copper King would like to send a special shout out to Miss Julie Witt, our wonderful instructional coach. Miss Witt has served as a parent volunteer coordinator. This year, Miss Witt has conducted several volunteer orientations with both morning and evening options to help support our parent volunteers. We are excited for the increase in involvement and thank Ms. Witt for leading this endeavor. Sonoran Sky. Sonoran Sky families will come together for our first spring fling. Kindergarten through 5th grade family dance on Wednesday, April 24th from 5 to 7 p.m. We look forward to treats, great music, and community fun sponsored by Student Council. Friday, April 19th will be Sonora Sky's PTA meeting input session to decide on the direction of and goals for next year. Families are invited to attend in person or via Zoom. This is an exciting partnership and opportunity to work together on shared goals. Garden Lakes. All students at Garden Lakes took part in our annual Testing Olympics kickoff ceremony. Grade levels showed their pride by representing a country and passing the torch all the way to the gym for an assembly on rocking for the upcoming state testing. Congratulations to our fifth graders for showing the most pride in representing the school banner. Garden Lakes PTA will be hosting our Under the Sea Family Fun Night on April 25th. This event will have music, food, and games ran by our grade levels. We are looking forward to another amazing night at Garden Lakes. Thank you. That's all the reports for tonight.
Thank you very much, students. As always, you do a great job in reporting about all of your great things that are happening in your schools. You represent them well. So now I'm going to ask Dr. Cruz to give her events report, and then we'll have the board members follow.
Good evening, Madam President. We just had a fantastic trip to the National School Board Association convention. It was fantastic to have that opportunity to learn, and also the privilege to get to present alongside 4 of our students and obviously our entire governing board. For those of you that haven't had the opportunity to attend, folks often marvel at the professionalism and kindness and smarts of our governing board, and so it's really cool to be seen with them. Again, that's a side comment. The board did another outstanding job presenting, but again, it's just really a great thing to be able to see so many different school board members from across the country and learn more about what they're doing. We also are really excited about our peer loop out. The peer committee has been meeting over the course of the year. You all are going to hear about that tonight. One of the things that I'm most excited about is the number of folks who chose to participate in the voting. So we've had, more folks participated in voting than we've had in a long time, and that's really a point of pride for us. Our principals, our directors, our coordinators, all the leadership team was working really hard to encourage colleagues to vote, and I really appreciate their effort in making sure that happens. So that's another kudo, I think, to the rest of the leadership team, and you just love it when that all comes together. So we're excited about that report that you'll hear later this evening. Canyon Breeze, the team over there did a fantastic job welcoming folks into that new Burlington Coat Factory. I think it's great that that organization has a commitment when they open a new store to recognize a school that's in the area, and so we're really privileged that they selected one of the Pendergast schools, and Canyon Breeze just did an outstanding job representing. I also want to thank the Glendale Chamber. They allowed us to do a fundraiser at their golf tournament. They don't have to do that, but they did, and so we were able to raise some money for our superintendent student council students for some of the trips that we still have that are coming up, including one this week. So we're very excited to take the students to Midwestern University and, again, keep expanding their horizons for what they can do in the future. On Saturday, we had a lovely time. The Pendergast Family Resource Center had a community baby shower, and it was just fantastic to see so many expectant families there having the opportunity to celebrate their new little one coming into the world. That whole team, and first things first, also just did a fantastic job welcoming our families. So again, kudos to Ed Services for everything that they do in order to make sure that our families are truly welcomed from the start into the Pendergast community. The Special Olympics team also did an amazing job at Kellis. It was just such a joyful event. We're super excited to see our students out there, and we look forward to seeing even more students participating in those events in the future. But the teams that were there from Pendergast just did a great job. The folks from Copper King and Desert Horizon are so proud of their students, and they've been practicing, and our kids represented really, really well. And finally, I had the opportunity to sneak up on our construction folks again that are working on their projects over at Desert Horizon and Via the Paz. And it is really impressive to see the progress that they've made and also just to see a very well-run space. It is clean. You go there, everyone is truly working, and you can ask anyone there, questions about their work at any point in time. I haven't been able to sneak up on them yet. That's impressive. So we're really excited about the progress that's being made. And if any of you want to schedule some time with me, I'm happy to show you if you want to see the work in progress. Otherwise, they're cooking along so fast. We think those buildings will be done in May, and so you'll actually be able to see a finished product here really soon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cruz. Okay, for our board members' reports, I'll start with Mr. White.
Thank you, Madam President. Congratulations again to our Be Recognized award winners. I know there's not much outside of thank you. Again, I keep saying that, and it's true, right, that thank you sometimes seems just performative, but really, truly thank you for all that you do for our students. It is National Volunteer Week, so I want to thank those folks that volunteer inside and outside of our schools, and if I may say so, my fellow board members, as well, for that giant check of $0. It's also School Library Month, so I think that's fitting that one of our Be Recognized winners works in the Library and Media Center as well. Just a quick aside for our student board members that presented. Great to hear about field trips to the MIM. Makes me a little nervous, more nervous than the zoo even, because at least at the zoo you can run around. The MIM's a little bit more fragile. But if you haven't had a chance to get out there, it's really great. And I don't know if they still do it. They used to do free entrance in July for educators and principals and anybody that has like a school ID, basically. And so if you haven't been up there, it's a little bit of a drive, but it's really, really awesome. Echo a little bit of what Dr. Cruz talked about with the NSBA sessions. The ones that we delivered were well attended. One was after lunch, which is always, a roll of the dice, and one was first thing in the morning on the very last day. So it was still great to see that attendance and some folks who have returned, right? See some familiar faces, to hear the presentation about the Superintendent Student Council again, and continue to ask questions and refine what they are doing in their district. I attended a number of sessions on productive leadership beyond polarizing politics. That was the pre-session that I attended, because it is an election year and it's going to be interesting, as always. Had breakouts on personalized learning, culture and anti-racism, some opportunity audits within school districts, and then also how a district in Washington State is using AI and some of the things that they're doing. So I really appreciate for the app being able to download all the PDFs and kind of look through stuff as well, so that we can see some of the sessions that we didn't get to. Again, thank you to Dr. Cruz and Senator Quesada and Mr. Ortega Rosales for our presentation around values. I was talking to some friends at lunch, not contract time, but at lunch, about our presentation. Like, wow, that sounds really interesting. Maybe other folks should look into that. So it was good, but everything gets solved at lunch and conversations in the parking lot after 3:30, right? And then Monday, our superintendent student council members rocked it. It was awesome, as usual. Just again, and thank you to Ms. Pulmeyer and Mr. Pulmeyer, Ms. Sarin, and Mr. Arenas for their presentation as well and their support. And I think the highlight for me really was hearing Ruby Bridges speak on, was it the first day? On Friday?
Yes.
The first real day of the conference. And she'll be 70 in September, and I think we've said this before, but like she's like alive, like she's 69 right now. She'll be 70 in September, and so you know, for young folks, that may sound old, but as I get older, it's not that long ago, right? There may be some folks that are that age or older in our presence right now, right? So to think what Ruby Bridges and what others went through during that time sometimes feels like a long time ago, but really, truly, it's not, right? And another interesting fact, right? Anne Frank, Martin Luther King, and Barbara Walters, all born in the same year. So just to kind of put that in perspective as well, I went down a whole rabbit hole of things that happened a long time ago, but really didn't. Had the opportunity to go to the car wash on Saturday as well, so thank you for that. I know people are jumping out into the street to try to wave cars in, so lean, not jump. Don't let the trust hear that. So it was good, and Kona Ice was there, and I know we had a food truck there as well, and some great music. And then looking forward this week to Beauty and the Beast, and the Family Art Night, I think, is this Thursday as well, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that testing season is still upon us. I feel like once it gets here, it never leaves us. So still testing. So again, at the forefront of one particular student in my household. So we'll get through it. She's excited. At least we're on to math and done with reading the portion. And then on a personal note, Katie has lost her first tooth today. So I know some folks will see her early in the morning, so you can ask her how that went. But I was talking to Ms. Fimbres before we started, because Katie's asking for $100, and so I was trying to get some advice, some advice from our CFO about the Tooth Fairy's budget these days. I don't know. So we'll see. I think she'll be disappointed when she wakes up, but I'll let you know. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Arenas.
Madam President, members of the board, committee members, I'll be quick. Peer process, I did review some of the information, most of it, not all of it, but most of it. And again, a big kudos to Patty Tussey for the leadership in that process, the looping out, the transparency, and certainly the alignment of what we're doing with our employees and the increase in participation for the voting. Thank you. It goes a long ways. NSBA, yes, I also attended, and it's really, I say this respectfully and with all due respect that, once again, the students did a wonderful job. It's not about us. It's not about me. It's about the students. They did a wonderful job. They always do. They always represent well, so thank you. And again, the highlight also was not only the students, but listening to Ruby Bridges. That was powerful and empowering. So really, really went a long ways. It's getting hot. You all know that. We all know that. And certainly to the students and to the leaders, just a friendly reminder, because I think I felt it today, that hydration, hydration is pretty important. And it's supposed to hit triple digits this weekend, they say. So obviously when you're on the, outside in the before school, during school, and after school, that says a lot. So please keep that in mind. Last but not least, congratulations and a big kudos to our Be Recognized Award recipients tonight. It's a strong message that you're doing everything you can for us and on behalf of our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arenas. Mr. Quesada.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Again, I'll be short as well, but in regards to the NSBA conference, that was a big thing. Obviously, we were all there. I would say it is unique for an entire board and their superintendent to attend one of these conferences. I talked to a lot of my colleagues, other board members in other districts, and that doesn't happen as often. So to be able to have that experience with our entire group, as a group, I think is really productive and really healthy for us as a group, and it helps make us a stronger team. And the fact that we had 4 students with us as well was just kind of icing on the cake. And as far as those students, I do want to highlight they were spectacular in their presentation. I ask my colleagues, the ones that go to the conferences and watch our presentation, how were we really? You know, because I know Dr. Cruz is going to say we're great, you know, but I mean, how were we really? but yeah, the response we got was that our students were really, really impressive. They were really well spoken. They had memorized their speeches. They only glanced at their note cards for reminders, but they were excellent public speakers. And I know I was really impressed because, I mean, I'm not that good of a public speaker, but these kids were knocking it out of the park. So that was really impressive, not just to me, but to all of the others that I talked to as well. There were others that said that they had seen us in the past and they came back, like Mr. White said, they came back to learn more. And I think that kind of leads me to my next point is I think that we in Pendergast are fortunate because we don't have to worry about politics as much on this board and in this district. So we can focus more at those conferences on learning the content of what's being presented and bringing it back here to the district and actually implementing that. And that's a luxury and a privilege that a lot of my colleagues in other districts don't have. And I know sometimes even the presentations that we are giving, some of the questions we get were like, how do we navigate this in a very politically divided board or in a very contentious board? And we have to tell them kind of find other ways to deal with that because we don't have that problem. So it's again, it's a privilege to serve on this board and to work with this team, knowing that we all have that same vision and we're all going in the same direction. We're able to focus more on substantive issues instead of silly political issues. And I think that that's a benefit to all of us. Lastly, I would say that it was great to see Ruby Bridges. Myself, I say that, but it was even better to have our 4 students listen to Ruby Bridges as well and to learn from her and to learn what she went through as a student. And that experience is just tremendous. And I know I bought her book on Amazon while we were sitting there in the conference, and I hope our students kind of look into her more as well, and I hope we kind of incorporate her story in the classroom as well because that's really important, and we need to know about that. We need to teach about that. So, with that is just thank you guys for having a great conference, and that's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you very much. Ms. Saren.
Thank you, Hilda. Good evening, everyone. I also went to the NSBA conference, and it was fantastic. It really was. Both presentations that Pendergast did, they were well attended. There were a lot of questions. The empowering excellence and success through student leadership, our 4 board members, they were fantastic. And I've got to say this about all of our superintendent student council members. They are great no matter what kind of situation we put them in. They're always there, and they've learned to speak to people, you know, give their viewpoints. All our members are fantastic. I wish we could only bring 4, but I wish we could have brought them all because it is a fantastic experience to go there. I also went to the Burlington Coat Factory grand opening. We now have another community partner. It was fantastic. Ms. Pizzo had cheerleaders. She had students from the flag football team, teachers. It was great. And some of them spoke, and the $5,000 for the school, that is fantastic. And everybody was really grateful for Burlington doing that with Canyon Breeze. Went to the car wash. I think we did pretty good. The students, there were 2 shifts, and they washed cars from like 8:30 to noon. So thank you, students. That helps the budget. It truly does. We appreciate it. And I also went to the community shower. It is fantastic what the district puts on, that the Family Community Center, what they do, the resources they have for the mothers to be. it was remarkable. I said, wow, they had nothing like this, 40 years ago, 50 years ago when I had my kids. And they all got bags of diapers, books, onesies, just all different stuff. And then there were also prizes that they could win during the whole thing. But the information alone was great, and they were all grateful. I want to thank Chartwell's. They had great food for the moms and for the families. So it was really a great occasion. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarin. I too attended the NSBA conference, and it was excellent. I was able to attend a workshop on storytelling, and it gave me, and Ms. Sarin was there as well, it gave us some great techniques and processes for us to be able to tell our story. And you think, well, why would you take something like that at National School Board Association? Well, because we sit in front of you all the time and around a lot of public, and we need to be able to do those kinds of things. And I will tell you, I've been involved in this kind of stuff for about 30 years, and I learned a lot in this class. It just gave you a lot of things to think about in terms of how to present your story. And I also attended several other workshops. One was on artificial intelligence that Mr. White attended as well. And, we all have our concerns about AI, but we also understand that that is the future. And that I believe that providing examples from a school on what they are doing, the challenges that they're going through, because not everybody is buying off on it, but how to get yourself around that was just very beneficial. And I walked out of there feeling like artificial intelligence is something that is not going away, and we need to embrace it. It's just how you embrace it. I also attended a great workshop presented by the Detroit school system, and it was excellent. And basically the message there is that we can't continue to think and have processes in place that are from the 19th century. If we want our children to be able to learn in another world, we need to throw those keys away in those classrooms and open up new ones. And it was excellent. It was very well presented and gave me a lot of confirmation about the things that, in particular, our leader, Dr. Cruz, is doing around innovation in our schools. For me, Ruby Bridges really took the grand prize. But I also believe that Mr. Shriver also did an incredible job and gave me a lot of thought about the polarization of our country and how we manage through that. And it was very powerful. Shriver, you probably know that name well. He is a Kennedy. His mother is Eunice, and he is the chair of the Special Olympics worldwide and does incredible work throughout the world. And his presentation was great in terms of how do we begin to work with each other for the good of the world. And so it was very thought-provoking. The other thing I want to do is give a shout out to Amazon. As you know, Amazon has been pretty good to our Pendergast community, and most recently they have donated to the Family Resource Center perishable food, hygiene products, arts and crafts that our families can use as well as our teachers. They have things that can be given to infants. So even if you're not at our school yet, we are providing, supplies for infants all the way to our older kids, with the focus around our students who are experiencing homelessness, as well as our foster kids. But it's open, pretty much to whoever is in need. And obviously our staff also is able to take advantage of that. It's not always about the cash, right? It's about, we'll take whatever is going to make a difference for our students and our staff and our community. And so I want to thank Amazon for what they've done to continue to support our community. And that's all I have in terms of reports. Thank you, everybody, for your reports. Carrie, are there any citizen comments? And if you did fill out a card to speak, please bring a card up to Carrie at this time if you didn't already do so.
I don't have any, no.
Okay. All right, so can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through I?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I just have a couple things,
Sure.
Madam President. So first of all, happy to see the First Things First grant on there to echo what Ms. Sarin has said, and to steal a phrase, BC before COVID, our family was frequenters of our First Things First program at the PLC. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out if it's at this PLC or that PLC. At the PLC, over by Via de Paz. So thank you. I assume Ms. Christopher and team put that together, so thank you to them. And then also, I know Chartwells is here tonight, and so just appreciate them and the committee that came together to score the presentations, and maybe, hopefully, continuing on this relationship. So thank you for that. That's all I have.
Okay, so we have the second, the discussion. Carrie, can we have a roll call, please?
Jet White?
Yes.
Jose Arenas?
Yes.
Martin Casada?
Yes.
Susan Sarin?
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales?
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you, Carrie. Dr. Cruz, are there any new hires or other announcements that you would like to make?
Yes, good evening, Madam President, governing board members, student board members, cabinet, and the community. We appreciate you all recommending, or taking our recommendation, to continue our relationship with Chartwells. As you know, they've been extraordinarily responsive to our requests. They really are a partner in serving our families, and we certainly have appreciated also their embracing our strategic plan goals and doing focus groups. There aren't too many outside organizations that truly become embedded in the community, and they've done a fantastic job with that. So we appreciate, again, moving forward with them. I also want to welcome some new hires. We have Glory Brown, who's going to be a support staff member at Canyon Breeze. Cecilia Mendoza-Payan is going to be an office tech in the Exceptional Student Services Department. And then we have some folks who have stepped up into new roles, and we genuinely appreciate their leadership. Cicely Bailey is going to be our interim principal at Amberlea Elementary School. We're also welcoming Christina Del Val as our interim principal at Desert Horizon Elementary School. And Martha Rodriguez, who had previously been at the PCC, I know that y'all are there quite a bit. She's actually moving in to be the executive assistant in human resources. So we're excited about that change for her as well. And truly, congratulations and my deep, sincere thanks to all of you who have stepped up and into these leadership roles. We certainly are grateful that we have such an amazing leadership team, that we've got talent that deep on the bench. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for all the flexibility and for taking those opportunities that obviously will help you in your career path, but also making a difference for our community. So thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
if I could just quickly interject. Yeah, I shout out to, I always ruin Jamie's last name, but to JT for your leadership, for your support, and for your advocacy. Sincerely mean that. I've always said that, and I'm glad you're still on board, my friend. And so you and your team and your leadership, man. So I really do appreciate it, because it's pretty sincere with you. I think you talk and you work from here, but you also believe in this, and I think it certainly resonates. So thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, right ahead.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Chartwells. I mean, you have gone outside the box with, the discovery kitchens, with the chop competitions, and your employees are always there to help our students. And our students really have come along. I mean, we have a lot of returning on those chop competitions, and I want to thank you for everything you do. And to our leaders that have stepped up to new positions, congratulations, and I know you will be successful. Thank you for taking on the responsibility.
I also want to acknowledge the principals that are losing their assistant principals. I know that once you become a team, it's difficult to unwrap that team. But again, you're thinking beyond that box, right? And so we appreciate you and your flexibility and your adaptability to what needs to be done for our district. And we're behind you and supporting you in any of that transition and what occurs there. Thank you. Okay, so next we have a presentation, a special presentation from the Financial Services team on the FY 2024 capital improvements financed through bonds and capital proceeds. I would like to welcome Ms. Joanne Fimbres to get us started. It's always important for us to present on this subject because it's important for our community who continues to support our elections for both M&O and for the capital override. It is so important, all the bonds, et cetera. So this is an opportunity for our public to see what we're doing, where their tax dollars are being spent. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President and esteemed board members, Dr. Cruz, members of cabinet, student board members, and members of our audience. Yes, this evening, the operations team, and as you can see, I have operations directors here standing behind me. We are going to basically cover the bond and capital projects for fiscal year 23-24. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then I am going to allow Mr. Winefsky, Mr. Petey, Mr. Triolo, and Mr. Sheeks to then cover the fantastic work that not only themselves but their teams have been overseeing over the past year. So as we begin, just covering the bond elections and having a recap there. Going back to November of 2016, the district successfully passed a $59.9 million bond election. And in February of 2017, the governing board adopted the resolution authorizing the issuance of school improvement bonds in the amount of $14,280,000. So in February of 18, again, we adopted Series B of that bond and authorizing the sale of $10,185,700. And in February of 19, we adopted the governing board adopted Series C with the sale of $10,470,000. So going to December of 2020, governing board adopted Series D of that bond issuance, $10,796,185. And in February of 2021, the governing board adopted Series E, and that was $13,200,135. So in November of 21, the district successfully passed a $53.5 million bond election. In March of 22, again, the governing board adopted projects not only from the 2016 but also the 21 bond approved for a sale of $10,438,965. And in February of 28, and that was the final sale of our 2016 bond. And in February of 23, the governing board adopted the resolution authorizing the sale of $15,045,377. And then in November of 2023, this past year, we are very grateful that the district successfully passed a $100 million bond election. So we again appreciate our voters within our district and supporting us to allow us the ability to do the wonderful things that are possible with our bond dollars. So most recently, March of this year, 2024, the governing board adopted the resolution authorizing the first issuance of our 23 approved bond as well as Series B of our 21 bond in the total of $20,054,075. And with that, we will then continue the great work that is happening here in our district. And again, this allows the district the ability to provide improvements in the areas deemed necessary by the superintendent, cabinet, and the bond oversight committee. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Winefsky, and he's going to get the team started in showcasing the great work that, that they have been doing. Mr. Winefsky.
Thank you, Ms. Members. Good evening, Madam President, esteemed members of the Governing Board, Dr. Cruz, student board members, members of cabinet, and the audience. It's a privilege to be able to present tonight. It's been a busy year. In the maintenance department, we had several flooring projects at Canyon Breeze. Rio Vista replaced all of the carpet and tile in all of the classroom buildings. We had a lobby safety project at the PCC where we set up a glass enclosure so the students would be separated from the community in the lobby, and that was important as with our business partner, the Glendale Chamber of Commerce, we have much more traffic coming in to the community center. Painting at Copper King and Sunset Ridge, the gymnasium at Sunset Ridge, Copper King, the stage, the exterior painting that we had taken care of over there. Roofing projects included skylights. Over 20 skylights at Pendergast Elementary School were replaced. The facility seems like we just built it yesterday, but in fact it's been about 15 years. And so we definitely needed to do some upgrades there. Roofing projects, district, the portable that houses some of our documents and archives as well. Maintenance restroom remodel, the facility being over 20 years old. Unfortunately, the sewer line in that facility had degraded as well to the point where we had to replace about 90 feet of it under the building, almost 50 feet inside of the building. It was a very large project. Window projects at HR, we can see that we had taken a door out. We had replaced that with a bank of windows. Sunset Ridge and Rio Vista, we replaced over 120 windows at those two sites alone. At Canyon Breeze, you can see before picture of the flooring, and you can see the new flooring. So what we're doing in all of our flooring upgrades is we're using carpet tile, similar to what we have here in the boardroom. That allows us to replace a damaged tile, or if a student, their pen explodes, we don't have to replace a very large section of flooring. We can simply peel up a carpet square and put a new one down. That is a huge cost savings for our district as we move forward with all of our carpet tile and luxury vinyl tile replacements. The lobby safety project at the PCC can be seen here. You can see the station that the Glendale Chamber of Commerce uses to greet their customers that come in, and then our students are behind that glass enclosure, leaving the gymnasium to use the restrooms, although it's easily open when we have events. Maintenance restroom projects, you can see the new restrooms, and they're absolutely beautiful. You can also see about 40 feet of the 90 feet of sewer line that we had to replace at that facility as well. And so the project seemed to had taken forever, but in the end, we have a facility that will last us many years to come. Building replacement and renovations, over 33,000 square feet of buildings that are going up at both Via de Paz and Desert Horizon. And the buildings really are spectacular and innovative learning spaces that really are a testament to the community, for the design, the steering committee, the input that was received, and seeing it come together is absolutely it's an honor to be part of it. And so our communities will be served by these buildings, and we look forward to the next phase. Thank you to our bonds and your support. You can see some pictures of those. Those are as of just last week, and so the drywall is going up, all of the insulation's going in. You can see the ductwork that's taking place. A lot of the ceilings in these facilities are going to be exposed, so you'll be able to actually look up and see the components, see the HVAC ductwork, see the water lines, and that's really a great learning opportunity for kids as well, because so many times they just see that hard lid, so to say, or that drop ceiling. And so this gives an opportunity if teachers working on, STEM projects and design, they can see the components of a building, and it becomes a learning opportunity for the kids. Site work, exterior, field improvements at Westwind. That project resulted in a beautiful field for the community. And we recently had a water day, a district-wide water day on the fields at Westwind, and it was wonderful to see how that field had transformed from a lot that really nobody wanted to be on to one where everybody in the district is able to come and take part of events. Fencing projects at Canyon Breeze and the PLC, parking lot ceiling and striping, building signage. Here's a picture of those fields, parking lot projects, building signage, and fire alarm replacements. As our buildings age, so does the technology for our fire systems and fire alarms. Also, the codes change. And so at the PLC, Sunset Ridge, and Sonoran Sky, we had systems where components weren't available. And so as the system, would have an issue and break, our vendors were trying to source used parts. And so with the replacement of these systems, we have systems that have now voice. And so if there is an event, the system will actually not only trigger an alarm, but it will tell you to evacuate the buildings, and then allow the administrators to voice over on a PA if they need to override that to be able to address the community to keep them even safer. Security system and card access at Canyon Breeze. Canyon Breeze was a school that never had card access, and so we were able to bring card access to that campus along with a security system that is also up to date, where if we get an event and an alarm is triggered, we will receive notifications on our cell phones, which is something that we did not have previously. And here are pictures of those alarm panels. Hard to see, but there's a PA microphone in those panels as well. Our HVAC projects, including Copper King and Sonoran Sky, our performance contract, we replaced this year just under 250 HVAC units. And so the performance contract that we have with our vendor allows us to go through and replace those aging units. And what that does for us as a district is allows us to have reliable comfort control for our classrooms. We don't have many units that are just dying on us because we regularly clean the coils in those units. We're checking the components of those units, and we're replacing those aged units that we see too much service with, because that also comes as a cost. When you're replacing compressors, condensers, evaporators, it becomes a time that you just need to replace the unit. And so that's what we've done. And at Copper King and Sonoran Sky, we've also upgraded some of our IT closets so that our equipment that's in those closets can stay cool during the summer, also keeping the network operational and sound at those sites. Solar projects district-wide. We have solar operational at all of our sites. We're already seeing a huge energy savings due to the solar. And interesting was the eclipse. You could see on our monitoring software how the production went down for quite a while during the eclipse. It was pretty neat to look at. But it's real time, and if we have an issue, we get an alert. It also allows us to go in, monitor the system and look for issues ourselves, because we want to make sure that we get the best energy savings that we can. Here you can see HVAC units being flown. That's what we call it when we bring our cranes in, and of course never anybody on campus when we do that, and our solar panels at some of our sites. I'd like to now welcome Mr. Baisha Sheiks, our IT director, to present on what IT's been up to. Thank you, Marty.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Cruz, members of the board, community. Well, I'd like to start by saying that we did a backup generator project this year, teamed up with maintenance. It felt more like a maintenance project than IT because we reap the benefits, they do all the work. So that really allows us to have coverage during like extended power outages. The first weekend I started here, somebody hit a transformer and the power was out for a day and a half. So having this natural gas generator will allow us to sustain extended power outages, keep the network equipment up, because if that equipment goes down, sometimes it doesn't start up right away and it can be a difficult task to bring it back up. So that is a blessing for our department, and I really thank the maintenance department for everything that went on to get that up and going. Also this year, we upgraded our data center equipment. Our switches and routers in the data center were dated, approaching end of life. One of the benefits of this is we are going to go from a 6 gig internet connection to 50 gigabytes. So that's a crazy jump in speed, and during today's technology where everything is cloud related, all the apps, everything that the students are accessing, the staff, our information systems, that's going to allow us to be future ready, keep accessing those apps, and have limited downtime and affect speeds when the students are watching their YouTube videos. One of the other things that we did is we gave some love and attention to Pendergast Elementary School this year. Our student iPads and our MacBooks, it's our one-of-a-kind Apple campus, and things were starting to become dated over there. Part of this is we implemented Jamf Connect. That Jamf Connect allows us to integrate the Apple products with our Microsoft environment, which when a staff member or student updates their password, it allows that to check in with and then they can use that login across the board, and it doesn't kind of separate them and segment them from everyone else in the district. So that was a really good feature. One of the big ticket items that continues to show its face is our student Chromebooks. Students are tough on them, and they break quite a bit. So we've replaced quite a few Chromebooks this year. We continue to repair them as we can. When we can't, we replace them with new ones. Chromebooks are a great tool. So another item that we've done this year is maintenance got a new work order system. So that work order system brings them up to speed, allows people to, track maintenance issues better, but we provided staff Chromebooks for the maintenance staff so they could go out in the field, they can access those tickets. That way they just have better hands-on documentation and tracking and things like that. So they have a little lockup card, keeps them charged, and that works out well. Another thing that's consistent here is our camera installations. We didn't have any major projects, but cameras continue to break. We have to repair those, vandalism, we have to replace those, and so that's just an ongoing kind of maintenance issue that we do. Intercom systems, most of the ones in the district have been outdated, but we're actually catching up. Sonoran Sky is just about complete. They're pretty much done with everything. They're just waiting to train the staff at this point. West Wind is the next one done. One of the things that I found kind of after taking over this role is some added features in our intercom systems that we're looking to train the staff on. Some of that is like during a lockdown, there's features that when you activate that intercom, it elevates the volume to max level and it can alert the staff. So one of the things we're going to be working towards next year is that early training to make sure that we have a document at all the sites so they can be ready for that and not just do a normal announcement, but in those emergency situations that there's features built in to the newer updated technologies. The phone systems, we had a 20-year-old phone system. We replaced all of our Cisco phones with a 40-phone system. All phones were brand new, every single desk, everywhere. And, so that was a fun project. And my favorite is the IT work order system, the only thing that I've wanted since I've started working here to replace our old school dude system, which is just not great. This new work order system is going to allow us to kind of maintain our assets, our staff device checkout. Currently, we're using a Google spreadsheet document. So this is going to clean that system up. We'll be able to integrate with our site level staff just to allow them more hands-on. It'll help our asset team track down devices, and we can create workflows to make it easier. So if someone puts in a work order, it can route to specific technicians, things of that sort. And so here is just kind of some pictures of what the switches and routers look like. It's never that clean, I'm going to tell you. Some of the new devices, the MacBook Airs, Chromebooks, and the iPads. Everyone has seen them, nothing new. Camera installations, corners of buildings, outside buildings, hallways. The new phone systems, the speakers that are put in place for our intercom systems, and that there is our intercom panel that the site staff accesses to do announcements. And with that, I will turn it over to Michael P. with Transportation. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members, Dr. Cruz, cabinet, members of our audience. This year, we replaced 3 Thomas wheelchair buses, which hold up to 48 passengers, or a combination of up to 36 passengers and 3 wheelchairs. These new buses also include the new Seon surveillance cameras and Zonar GPS units. Next, we also replaced 4 Type A buses. 2 of these buses also have wheelchair lifts for added service for our community members. All these buses hold 14 passengers or 12 passengers and 2 wheelchairs. All 4 of these buses also include the new Seon surveillance systems and Zonar GPS units. Lastly, for our bus fleet, we also purchased 14 new Seon camera systems, upgrading the systems in our older buses, which had older outdated equipment, allowing for better surveillance on our older buses. Finally, we had the opportunity to replace several vehicles from our white fleet, including 4 pickup trucks and 1 cargo van for our IT department. And now Jamie Trio for food service.
Good evening, Board President Ortega-Rosales, board members, Dr. Cruz, student board, and guests. To complete our 2024 project year, we spent $773,716 from the food service fund. We replaced ovens at Amberlea and Canyon Breeze. We replaced milk coolers at Rio Vista and Sonoran Sky. We added tilt skillets at 8 schools that didn't have one: Amberlea, Copper King, Canyon Breeze, Desert Mirage, Rio Vista, Sunset Ridge, Sonoran Sky, and Westwind. And at Amberlea, Canyon Breeze, Rio Vista, Sunset Ridge, Sonoran Sky, and Westwind, we had to extend the hood ventilation and fire suppression systems to support the new tilt skillets. So at these 6 schools, we also installed a new section of hood system with the proper rating. We have a tentative plan to utilize some of the food service funds in school year 2025. Thank you for approving my contractor. This would have been weird. For all 12 schools,
You thought very positive when you put this together.
Yes, I was like, we're gonna get this, or this is not gonna be fun. For all 12 schools, we're planning to get low-height 5-well salad bars to replace our existing 4 well salad bars. This is going to give us more space to offer fresh fruits and vegetables, and the lower profile is going to make it easier for the little ones to reach in and help themselves. Everything else we're looking to do will replace older equipment that's at the end of its life and is starting to cost more to keep working than it will to replace. Westwind needs a replacement for a double stack oven. All 12 schools could use a new hot holding unit to either expand or replace current holding capacity. We want to replace 5 old milk coolers at Garden Lakes, Desert Mirage, Desert Horizon, Westwind, and Copper King with larger units that hold 16 crates. And let's see, we need new steamers at Canyon Breeze, Desert Mirage, Westwind, and Sonora and Sky. And actually, Sonora and Skies will be replaced this year. We have a quote in for it now. It didn't make it, unfortunately, to the next year. And last but not least, we're hoping to replace some of the older equipment at Charlie's Cafe with some newer equipment to give us better cooking processes. And I think with that, back to Joanne.
And so for what we consider other expenditures, that's basically our furniture purchases that we've had over the years. So as you can see, we've spent a little over $1 million with furniture purchases. I would like to share that the furniture that you see here in our boardroom was part of that expense, on top of the fact that we, furnished many of our classrooms, many of our departments received furnishing as well. So just making sure that our students and staff have the proper furniture that they need to not only have an instructional day, but also have a efficient work day. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to the team because they are going to talk about what looks like we are going to be doing in the coming year and the plans that we have in place for FY25. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Sheik so he can get started on the IT side.
Okay, so some of the things that we have planned, it seems kind of consistent and redundant every year, but that's technology. Our camera servers are aging, support is going out on those, space is needed more than ever, so we are investigating some new options that could potentially work with that, whether it be hardware replacement or go with like a cloud solution that will give us better storage. Part of that router switch upgrade would allow us to go to a system of that nature. Our firewall is up for replacement. That keeps us secure. It keeps the hackers out. That's the first line of defense that we have on our network. One of the other items is we're going to be looking into the governing board room AV equipment. It's starting to show signs of aging and inconsistencies. Sometimes it does not want to work with us, and so we are looking into potential options for that. We're going to be doing 2 more intercom upgrades. After this, that really leaves only 1 more site that was untouched, and then after that one site, we have 1 more that was done with a previous vendor that we will look to replace later. Those are going to be Rio Vista and Amber Leah coming up. Staff devices, our desktops have been real troopers at the front office. I believe that they're like 8 to 10 years old. Some of the best machines I've seen. However, in today's technology, and one thing you mentioned about AI, the newer devices, new chipsets that are coming out are actually including AI features built into it. So this is a really interesting time for our device refreshes to kind of get in on that. You can either kind of buy the old or you could buy the new with those AI features. We're going to reevaluate the front office solutions, find devices that are not going to take up space, provide more function, and replace those aging devices because they need some updated security. Some of our laptops, our support and warranty has come up on those, and as they start to die off, we just need to replenish our inventory. We're not doing a full refresh this year. Our devices are still holding up really well, so we can get another year out of those. But we do have about 4,000 student Chromebook devices that are approaching their end of life cycle. So we're going to be looking at new devices to replace those early in the school year. So that one's going to come up pretty quick. And with that, that's pretty much all of our upcoming things that we're doing in the IT department, maintaining and going from there. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Brian Wynefsky. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sheeks. So exciting news in our upcoming projects. We are going to be installing Zoll AEDs. They're the same ones that the NFL uses, completely automated, and will tell the user exactly what to do. The unit itself will scan the person, and the unit will fire. The person does not. The unit only needs to put the pads on. They're universal pads for children or adults. And so at all 16 buildings, we will be installing those. Building signage, the maintenance, transportation, and warehouse does not have any, and it will. That may take place sooner than later, and possibly before the summer. Desert Horizon and Via de Paz, building replacement and renovations. At Desert Horizon, we are working with CORE to determine exactly what our course of action and plan is for summer work, and that will be coming to you soon. At Via de Paz Classroom Renovations, we will be renovating buildings B, C, D, doing a little bit more work in E, going into L, which is our preschool, and a little work in building H. And so exciting work going on this summer, and taking out portables J and K. And so exciting work that will be done before the start of the school year so that the community can enjoy their buildings. Cafeteria refreshes at Amberlia and Rio Vista that will include flooring and drywall work, paint, acoustical panels, drywall and painting projects across the district. We have in fact, 6 schools will be having drywall and painting work done in hallways, flooring projects at Sonoran Sky, similar to Rio Vista and Canyon Breeze. Will be replacing all of the classroom buildings flooring, and that includes carpet and luxury vinyl tile. Lighting projects to bring exterior lighting to the 5 campuses seen at Amberlia, Canyon Breeze, Rio Vista, Sonoran Sky, and Sunset Ridge. Parking lot replacement at Desert Mirage. The entire lot will be tore up this summer and replaced. The lot is very degraded. It has sunk by the admin building, and so it does require that we tear that whole lot up and redo it. Playground and landscape improvements. You'll start to see in the fall, we will be planting new trees and some new bushes to replace some of the ones that unfortunately haven't made it over the last few years' heat. Restroom remodel at Pendergast. Again, Pendergast is due for some love. It's not new anymore. And so we'll be doing the restrooms there. And then security and card access at Rio Vista. Similar to Canyon Breeze, Rio Vista has not had card access, but it will. And they will have a new security system as well. I'd like to now turn it over to Mr. Petey for transportation.
For our upcoming projects in transportation, we're currently in the process of replacing 2 of our box trucks. One is for the warehouse, which is used, of course, for furniture and supply deliveries. And the second box truck will be used for food service, for food deliveries. And that truck will also be equipped with a refrigeration unit, allowing the food to stay temperature controlled, especially during our summer months. Nice. Mr. Emrys.
All righty, and with that, I want to thank our phenomenal directors. Mr. Wynefsky, our Director of Maintenance and Operations, Mr. Sheeks, our Acting Director of Information Technology, Mr. Petey, our Director of Transportation, and Mr. Triolo, our Director of Food Service. They have done a phenomenal job. Their teams have done a phenomenal job, and as you can see in this presentation, they've been hard at work in making sure that we're taking care of our students, taking care of our staff, and we are in facilities that are safe and secure, as well as the fact that we have the technology that we need for our students to be instructed each and every day. They've done a phenomenal job, and with that, I want to thank them, and also thank you for allowing us to come before you and share this information.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fimbres, and your team. You've done an excellent job in sharing with us what's done and what is going to be projected for the future. Do any of the board members have any questions or comments for the team? Yes, Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you again for the presentation, and again, thank you, I think Ms. Ortega-Rosales mentioned it as we were getting set up, to our community and to our voters for continuing to support us for these things. You know, I think I say this every presentation where I know some folks who have moved into our boundaries get the benefit of having new facilities, and we have facilities that have been here for quite some time. And so these updates and the safety and all that definitely does make a difference to both our staff members and to our students and families. I have a few questions. I guess, is there a way, and this doesn't have to be a presentation, it can be in week in review or maybe in future presentations for like the savings or the offset or whatever that word is for the solar that has been installed? Or when we might be able to tell?
Mr. White, yes, knowing that we now have each of the sites' solar equipment fully running, and actually I think we just commissioned the last one, last week?
Just last week.
Just last week. So with that being said, so as we get going, that is the plan. Okay. Anticipating seeing what that difference is, from prior to the solar to where we can actually capture what that looks like now that we have things up and running. So that is our intention and our plan, and more than happy to share that in whatever means necessary.
Yeah, thank you. And then I guess I heard the AV equipment in here, and maybe again, I've lost a sense of time, but I feel like it's only been 2 or 3 years. So for some of the components or some of the things in here, if I heard correctly, is that still under warranty, or is that going to be something we're going to have to figure out ourselves?
Well, most of the work that's been done has just kind of been repair work.
Okay.
It's kind of just been mini amplifiers, so not the main components of it.
Okay.
So yeah, there's really no warranties on most of the equipment just because it's so aged. It's harder to find support with it. Okay. You have to find an old technician who's been with the company for 20 years who happens to know it. And so yeah, unfortunately, it's probably about time. I mean, it might last a little bit longer, but you just never know.
Thank you. And then, let's see, where did I lost my place? I'm sorry. Good to hear about the warehouse, right? Getting quite the glow. I mean, AC and now signage. That's great. The warehouse is on a roll, so it's good to see the warehouse taken care of as well.
And a bathroom.
And a bathroom. Oh, no more buckets. Just kidding. Don't. It's on Facebook now. And then Chartwell's, again, just to continue, appreciate that the partnership and that focus with student feedback. I know that came up in one of our presentations, and just with the equipment that's being put in, right, to have something a little bit more adventurous maybe every day, but then also have a safety of the cheeseburger and a safety of that macaroni or whatever it might be, if we're not feeling so adventurous that day, or the fun lunch, because that's fun as well. And I will say, I know with those tilt skillets, there were some governing board members from neighboring districts that were quite envious that we get to eat pozole from our cafeteria, and our students get to eat pozole from our cafeteria. So we may get some folks coming to Charlie's maybe later, I don't know, or told them to check the Nutri-Slice and make sure they put their Raptor card in or their ID in at the office and then come in and eat. And then no response is required for this, because I know the infrastructure that it would require, the money that it would require, and the trade-off of capital money for things that immediately make a difference. But I know every time we talk about buses, at least one of us talks about either alternative fuel or electric or hybrid or something else. And I know if we're going to spend that money, I want to make sure we do it right. I know that other districts are doing it, and that's fine, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. But so I want to put that out there. That it doesn't, just a comment about that.
Right. Anybody else? Yes, Ms. Sarin.
Thank you for the presentation. I really enjoyed it. And it gives not only us, but our viewers on Facebook an opportunity to see where their tax dollars really are going. I mean, the money that is spent is for much needed repairs, new buildings. Our campuses look great, and I thank you for all your hard work on that. And for Chartwell's, for our food service, you know, the cafeterias look great, and I know there's been new things, you know, I see when I go to the schools added, and the banners and everything, and thank you for that. And transportation, it is so important. I mean, so important to have buses that are reliable, are safe, and thank you for that. And our Chromebooks, I know the kids talk about Chromebooks now and then, you know, sometimes SSC members do. And is there any way, I know a couple times they've said, well, you know, the batteries wear out, you know, we're always recharging them. Is there any, I know with the updates, you know, the new ones, you know, the batteries will have a better shelf life. Is there any way to get the other ones to be able to be charged quicker, or?
Battery technology is one of those things that's, you know, not really changing a whole lot these days. Most batteries really only have a lifespan of about 2 to 5 years before they start to degrade. And with the lithium batteries, they kind of have a limited charge life. Used to be, you know, I'm not exactly positive on what that is for these Chromebooks, but like for the old Dell laptops that I used to work with, they were like 300 full charges. And so if a student used them for 20% of the time and you charged it, it was a 20% charge. And so a total lifespan of 300 of those. So nowadays it's probably 200 to 400. And really, when we see those, we do replace them with new batteries. It's advantageous to go out and do a project to where you would upgrade them all, because many times when you take these devices apart, the screws and the screw mounts break, so it can cause additional issues if you get swelling and things of that nature. The best thing that we can do is, you know, when we store them for the summer, the worst thing you can do on these is have the battery die completely. It's not like the older NICAD phones that you used to have where they'd say, oh, always, you know, keep it, you know, run it all the way out because it has a memory. Newer batteries don't have that memory. They actually degrade when you run it all the way down. So having them go into the carts and do that, as far as faster charging, there's really not a way to do that. The way that the carts work is they do cycle charging, so they'll charge different banks. Otherwise, you start blowing fuses and things. So that's part of the delay, is when you have them in carts, it's not doing all of them at the same time. Sometimes if they have chargers out and plug them into a wall, that may assist with that. But yeah, it's just one of those things in today's world that is ever changing. So.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And again, thank you, because our bond dollars are very well spent on our campuses, and thank you to all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. And this might be a question for Dr. Cruz or Ms. Fimbres, but I remember us having, regarding the AV equipment in the boardroom, I remember us having a conversation about live streaming, and I'm wondering, I can't remember where we ended up with that, and if that's included in these upgrades that we're doing.
Yeah, Madam President, Senator Quesada, you're remembering correctly that our ability to broadcast these meetings on Facebook is a relatively recent update, but the rest of the system, it has been at work for quite some time and needs some replacement. So even the system that we've been using to live stream has had its ups and downs. So we're excited that the team is taking a look to see what needs to be upgraded.
Okay. Thank you. I know Mr. Winefsky mentioned that the eclipse with the solar panels. I would love to see kind of what that was really interesting. So I would love to see that, whatever that kind of dip in that energy production was. I thought that was really cool. But I just wanted to thank the whole team. I know it's really easy for for us, we could just very easily focus on the aesthetics of the district, but we're doing all the substantive stuff behind the scenes too to make everything work. So it's all you guys' planning and the hard work that you guys are doing, that everything's working. So thank you for that. And then my only last question is kind of a technical question. So I don't know if this is for Dr. Cruz or Ms. Fimbres as well, but I noticed in the kind of the background on our board docs, it says that this presentation is supposed to be given between September and October. So are we doing this in addition to that one, or is this one in place of that? I mean, are we going to get multiple presentations? And either way is fine. I just was curious.
Mr. Quesada, the norm, let me back up a minute. The compliance and mandated piece is that we present this in the fall. And we actually, in all honesty, we come to you a couple times in a year.
Right, okay.
That's something that Pendergast does. So from a compliance standpoint, yes, we share our presentation in the fall with you, and that will be updated once the new year is here and we get to September, October timeframe. We just have to make sure that we come to you before the end of October.
Okay.
And share that. And we do that every year. That's an annual thing. This is a bonus. This is a bonus
Excellent,
because
yes.
we get to come before you. We normally do one in the spring and obviously the mandated one in the fall. So that's just an added incentive for us to be able to come and share with you and obviously share with our community.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Anything else? Oh, thank you. The only thing I will say is that, again, thank you to our community. Our children are coming to school to one that is well-maintained and safe and secure. And it's the least we can do for them as their community is supporting them through the passage of our bonds and so forth. Ruby Bridges spoke about when she went back to the school that she had entered and that she had to go back because her nephew was there and she was caring for her nephew. And she made mention of the fact that she was really saddened by the fact that the facility was very worn out and not well maintained, and it was almost depressing to walk into that school. And the reality is that there are many schools in our country that are not well equipped, and we come from a community that obviously is not considered overly in poverty, but we also do have the poverty, and those kids, regardless of where they live, what their zip code is, should be able to come to those good schools that have a beautiful entrance and is secure and safe. And thank you for all that you do to make sure that happens. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much. Our next presentation is going to be from Ms. Patty Tussey, and she will be speaking to us about the 2024-2025 peer agreement and the voting results.
So, the PowerPoint is not loaded. I can either go email it, or we can just move forward and I'll present it.
I think we all have it.
I read mine, so if you just want to give us a summary, that would be fine. I'm sure your summary will have detail in it because you've lived this for a few months, so.
And my apologies.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. Madam President, esteemed board members, Dr. Cruz, student board members, cabinet members, and our audience. Yes, I'm here to present on our peer process, which is the Pendergast employer-employee relations process that we use in a collaborative way with stakeholders from our hourly folks, support staff, teachers, administrators, and pretty much over the time period of the last several years, we've invited more and more people to be a part of that process. So this year we had about 30 people sitting in committee. And as we go through our work, the larger committee meets every other month, and in the off month, we have our subcommittees meet that talk about salary and budget and medical benefits, evaluations, reclassifications. Requests are made by certain staff that feel that their job should be at a higher level. And then we meet back in the larger committee and we discuss what the subcommittees have done and put some recommendations together. I have to say that this year was an interesting year. Do we have any people in the room that served on the peer committee this year? How many? All right. One thing that we did, we had our facilitator retire. We had an outside facilitator. So we trained a group of teachers, some support staff, and administrators to facilitate meetings. And we scheduled them to facilitate our meetings as a team. An administrator and a teacher, administrator and a support staff. So, I may ask for volunteers to speak to that in a little bit. But I think the process worked very well this year. So then we do our loop out. So the loop out consisted of a message from the superintendent on thanking all the staff for what they do and thanking the committee for the work of putting it together. I'm going to let Ms. Fiembres talk to what we went through with committee, but also was in the loop out. It's a presentation, short, that you've all heard as part of your budget, projected budget, but this is what's shared with committee.
Good evening, Madam President, esteemed board members. So as we got started with our loop out, the information that we shared was the fact that for fiscal year 25, we are projecting a 2% increase to the state support level for inflation. And we also showed that there will be a projected 2% increase to the base level for the M&O weighted per pupil formula funding amount and a projected increase of $25.38 to the capital or district additional assistance weighted student count funding for FY25. So the state legislature inflationary funding is expected to be finalized in the coming months. Prop 301 is projected to have an increase of $34 to the funding formula for weighted student count. And then we also spoke about our average daily enrollment. Enrollment in the district peaked 9 years ago at 10,660 students. So during the 2024 fiscal year, we have approximately 8,250 students. The district has experienced declining enrollment over the past 5 years with a slight increase in FY25. And we also shared the average daily membership and the progression, how we have, since 2017, we have gradually declined a bit in the ADM figures, with 2023 getting us back to 7,728. Current year, we are at 7,714, and we are projecting going into fiscal year 25 at 7,554. So our working budget limit for fiscal year 24, our working budget limit is $74,909,749. Our projected FY25 working budget limit is $74,339,189, giving us a difference or a reduction from 24 to 25 of $570,560. And so these figures are based on the current inflation or information provided by the Joint Legislative Budget Committee and where we are with the legislature at current date. So our cost to maintain in FY25, we are projecting that to be at $70,106,783. So with our projected working budget limit of $74,339,189, that gives us a remaining budget balance of just a little above $4.2 million, $4,232,406. So in the loop out, we also talked about student enrollment and our ADM, but we also talked about the stabilized funding in Prop 301. We are appreciative of the fact that they have, over the past number of years, they have increased the Prop 301 funding, and so we're very appreciative of that. And that does go into the base salary and the performance pay for those staff members that are eligible for that. And again, we always like to show our appreciation and gratitude to our voters for the passage of our district override in November of 2023. And so,
You could go ahead. Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead. This is the good part, but I'm going to summarize the rest of it as soon as you're done.
Okay, so based on our student enrollment and our average daily membership, the district's projected funding for fiscal year 25, PEER is recommending a 3% on the base for all employee groups. So during the school year 21-22, a compensation study was completed. The new placement schedule was implemented during the 22-23 school year. The recommended increases, including reclassification, was applied regardless of the employee being above the top step.
And so one reason that I like to include this and why it's in our loop out, and it's something we go over with committee, is we want the committee to understand that when they're making a recommendation, what drives our budget, right? The attendance, ADM, enrollment, so that they know exactly what they're working with when they work towards a recommendation. So Ms. Fiembres is amazing at presenting to them and is able to help, all of us work through those dynamics. So we also found that there was ESSER grant funds still available through September. So part of the recommendation was to have the $1,400 retention stipend, again, be for all employees that are returning to the district paid in September, because the grant runs out at the end of September. So the payment will actually be in September. In addition, we added and we brought this recommendation to you prior with committee approval, a $2,000 stipend for the difficult to fill positions, that is our middle school positions, as well as all of our ESS teachers and related services, that's counselors, psychologists. I know we had a question as we looped that out, does that include gifted teachers? And yes, it does. So we're happy to share that. The other fund that we talk about during PEER is the $301. And based on what Ms. Fiembres presented to the group, we will maintain the $4,500 of 301 on the base salary. So in addition to the base on our salary schedule, they'll have $4,500, and that is for an eligible group of teachers, counselors, related services. For the hourly staff that qualify, and that's those that are working with attendance directly, front office staff and our registrars across the street and our health techs, they will see $3,000 in addition to their base hourly rate from that fund. All of that group is eligible for performance pay at the end of next year of $3,000. So that is quite a few stipends that are being added to the base. So for the difficult to fill, it's $2,000 plus the $1,400 retention stipend plus $4,500 on the base plus $3,000 one-time payment from carry forward plus an eligibility of $3,000 at the end. So in summary, what we're recommending here is a 3% raise to all staff, with the exception of one group, and that is our transportation bus drivers. Because when we looked at reclassifications and the consultant for the compensation study recommended that the bus drivers be moved up 2 levels, that resulted in about a 5 to 5.5% raise for that group. So they'll receive that rather than the 3%. So those are the increases to the base: $1,400 retention stipend, $2,000 stipend for the difficult to fill, and the $301, along with the district will continue to pay for United Healthcare and Delta Dental for those who are benefit eligible. So that makes it free to the employee. And we approved 5 positions on reclassification, and those were all run through not only committee but also through the consultant. So we had a consensus on making those recommendations. And I believe should conclude. I'm looking to make sure we've got health insurance, we've got the same health insurance plans, no changes. Our increase this year at 4% was it was an improvement over previous year, and we hope with the way the plan is operating that it would continue to improve. And then we asked for their vote. And I know that it was talked about early on about more people being involved and voting. I just kind of looked back over the years, and 2021, let's see, we had a little less than 500 people vote, and we actually had a few more employees at that time. In 22, we had 505, and in 23, we had 500. So to get 609, I was very happy to see that many people did look at it. And so it was 98.2% in favor of adopting the agreement. And just before we ask for your approval and your vote, I did want to ask if anybody did want to speak to process, so they can hear more about that. Brian? No. Mr. Winevsky. And I do have to say one thing. Pam Huff is the president of the union, and she was going to speak tonight. She did call me, and she's ill and couldn't make it, so our apologies.
Madam President, esteemed members of the Governing Board, Dr. Cruz, student board members, cabinet and audience, it's a pleasure. I had the distinct honor and privilege of being a facilitator this year, being trained with a group of the peer cohort to be able to facilitate. And the training really equipped us to be able to lead the group and bring the group forward. But what it did, and the byproduct of having the Pendergast employees facilitate, it gave everybody that ownership of peer, and it seemed to make the whole process even more transparent. Because your fellow group members, they look at you a little different when they have that relationship with you day in and day out, and we all have that common goal of doing what's best for not only the employees of the district, but also looking at the children and what we want to do for them, because we do understand that our budget's our budget and M&O is M&O. And so at the end of the day, we do need to do what's best for our students and taking care of the employees to be able to give our very best to the district and the community that we serve. And so it was wonderful. And our facilitator that we've had for many years, who has retired, she did a great job equipping us to be able to facilitate and carry on the group dynamics that we've come to know and appreciate, because it doesn't matter who's in that meeting, everybody has the same voice. Everybody is free to be able to speak how they feel about something, and the group not judging, snickering, side conversations. Everybody is an equal in peer, and that makes the dynamics of the group so powerful, in that we represent not only ourselves but the entire district. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wineski.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wants to share? Okay.
Anyone? I see you back there, Siobhan. You're just hiding. No, it's if you're not comfortable.
I think they're tired.
I do. So if you have questions, otherwise we want to thank you for allowing us to have this collaborative process and bringing this to you. I think we put together a good recommendation this year.
Yes. Well, thank you to to everybody that was involved. Is there any comments or questions from our board members?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you for the presentation. I'm glad some things never change when you ask a question and all the heads go down, flashbacks to the classroom. Yeah, and I know we talked about percentage, but I think also it's powerful to talk about numbers, right? That's 11 no's, I think it was. It was like 10.9, rounding, whatever. So 11 no's out of that 608, and that increased participation, so appreciate that. And it kind of echo what Mr. Winefsky was saying as well, of like the knowledge is power, right? There's so many times I feel like I get in conversations with folks with, why don't we just, or why can't we just, or I can't believe the money that they spent on this, couldn't it be spent someplace else? And well, no, it can't, because this is this bucket and that's that bucket. So I think, also it's an educational opportunity for folks to really learn about school finance and money and how complicated it is, and just, it's a lot. And then also just looking at the calendar approval too, I'm glad that they have a voice in that. I know the fourth quarter can get quite long and is quite the beast to tackle, so it's good to have a break after the break, so I'm glad that that's going to continue. And then I apologize for not asking this before in the review of the materials, but I'm just curious about like the TAP rubric, and this doesn't have to be answered right now because this is probably going to be a larger conversation, but just about the TAP rubric. I know that I taught in a district that used the TAP rubric quite some time ago, and so were other evaluation instruments looked at? Is it are there tweaks that we can do? I don't know what's in law as far as like evaluation goes, but just like, is that, like, do we find that useful, I guess?
I think that is information that can come back to you through updates, just for the history. As far as the legal part of it, that is something that we review every year with legislation, in kind of an area that I like to dig into. So the process piece of it is always in alignment with the law. The rubric itself that's a different process, and so I would just defer to later information. I do know that there was a lot of weigh-in on calendars, and that was a really important discussion. And that was also part of the evaluation committee that Dr. Brown chairs, that they talk about. Teachers have input on where those district-wide PD days will be placed. So that not too close to parent conferences and so forth. Sure. So that's very good. But I also just want to say, I thought for the first time of self-facilitation, to make sure that there was teams, because it takes a lot of listening, the group did seem to respond really well, and it felt really good. That it didn't shut down any conversations. Everybody, we were well trained. Okay, good. It went very well.
Yeah, and then just one other comment. It's a little bit of a tangent regarding the calendar, but I just appreciate champions and our facilities being open on those days, because while most of our calendar aligns for fall break and winter break and spring break with districts, some of these kind of one-offs do not, and so I know for our parents and for our family, that's super helpful to have those facilities open on that Friday and Monday.
Anything else? Ms. Sarah?
I would just like to thank the peer committee, because I know you meet year round, and this is a big task to and to make everybody pretty happy on what's going on with salaries and everything. I think it's great adding the stipend for the hard to fill positions. That is fantastic. And even the $1,400 retention, that really is an incentive for our staff. Also, that the medical is paid for. That is so big, and that year after year we keep doing that. And so, again, I want to thank you for all your hard work.
Anyone else?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Ortega-Rosales, or Madam President. Great job. I think that the reason why we have such support as a board from our district is because we do things like this, and there is such buy-in and understanding about what the decisions we make is because of this process. So I'm a big fan of it. I know it's unique to Pendergast. Not all districts do this. And there's a lot of things unique about this, but it works for us. And so I just wanted to thank you for that. The only thing, and you don't have to give this to me now, but maybe in the future, I'm always curious about like the breakdowns of that vote. So one, and maybe you can't answer this, but what do we attribute this 100 vote increase turnout to? But I would like to see kind of the breakdown, because I know we ask about whether they're classified, certified, or administrator. I'd like to see that breakdown of those numbers, and then the actual voter turnout, like 609 out of how many?
Right.
What was that turnout number as well?
Okay, we can get you that. I do think it's interesting because we do collect that data.
Yes.
Administrator, support, and certified, and I will get you that. I also collect whether or not they're returning to our district.
Right, that
for
one too,
here.
yes.
And it's interesting that there were a few, actually, I think it's 35 people that voted that won't be returning, although most of them, all but 12, I think, of that small group voted in favor of the agreement. They want to see their friends have the.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Nice.
That's good to know, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? No? I just have a couple of things. One is, living this process in my prior life, I know it's not easy, and having a facilitator always makes a difference. But when you graduate to the point of not having a facilitator, that says a lot. It really does. It shows the maturity and the relationship connection that's being made, and that takes years to happen. So congratulations for that. I too, in the future, would like to see comments like, I voted yes because of XYZ, or I voted no because of XYZ, or I voted yes, I almost voted no because of this issue. That provides you such invaluable information that you can use the following year. How can we make this better? It is good, but how can we make it better? I also would like to ask if we could, in the future, have this presentation in the beginning of the meeting. And the reason I ask that is because I would like to have as many of the committee members come. And I do not want to impose on their personal time. They've already given enough. But if they were to come in the beginning of the meeting, and once we get through the things we need to go through in terms of the formalities, that they be the first presentation so that we can acknowledge those individuals who were part of the work. And they would obviously be encouraged that once the presentation was done, they could quietly leave to be at home with their families. Okay, so with that said, can I have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 peer agreement as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those, I was gonna take the vote. Okay, I'm wearing my other hat, right? Carrie, can you do our roll call vote, please?
Jet White.
Yes.
Jose Arenas.
Yes.
Martin Cazada.
Yes.
Susan Sarin.
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. All right. Is there any agenda items that you would like to see added to the future board agenda? No? Okay. For informational purposes, our future governing board meetings, we'll have one on Saturday, April 27th, 2024 at the Pendergast District Office at 8:30 a.m. For our governing board retreat. And then our next regular meeting is May 7th, 2024 at Westwind School, 6 p.m. regular governing board meeting. I can't believe that we're saying May already, that's our next board meeting. So hope to see you there at the next regular board meeting. We now would like to have a motion considered to move to executive session.
I'll make a motion.
And this will be pursuant to ARS Section 38-431.03A.1 for the superintendent's evaluation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, Carrie, could we have a roll call vote?
Jet White,
Yes.
Jose Arenas.
Yes.
Martin Casada.
Yes.
Susan Sarin.
Yes.
Hilda Ortega Rosales.
Yes.
There being 5 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. And for our individuals that have joined us on Facebook Live, at the conclusion of the executive session, we will not be rejoining on Facebook. The meeting will be adjourned and no additional discussion or presentation will occur. Thank you.